Hi, I am Miguel Ángel Zúñiga Balderas, and I'm going to present my axis activity. Uh, this is my project, Center of Gravity, Boys versus Girls. Introduction. Have you ever wondered if your gender affects your center of gravity? In this project, I will seek to answer that question with an experiment where we estimate in calculating the center of gravity between men and women, comparing the results to see if your sets affect to your center of gravity, specifically in each location, which may imply a greater or less balancing depending on the location of your center of gravity in relation to your height. If you know the center of gravity, that could help you to climb with more security, and you can take more take of your body, you can take you can take care of your health, like know how much weight to carry in the backpack, so as not to lose balance. Also, you can take more care of your body, lifting heavy things correctly, walking correctly, sitting correctly, and sleeping properly. Because the closer to the center of the body gravity the lead is, it will be easier to carry the heavy things. In the end, if you know your center of gravity, you can have a healthier life and avoid joint pain. Um, my theoretical framework, I'm going to use my project different units like weight. Weight is an object. Weight is related to the force acting on an object, either to their gravity or to a reaction force that holds it in a place. I'm going to use also distance. Distance is a numerical measurement of how far objects or points are. I'm going to use height, that is the distance of an object measures. In this case, it will be the measure of people. A center of gravity, that in physics is an imaginary point in a body of matter where, for convenience in a certain calculation, the total weight of the body may be thought to be concentrated. Center of the body is the middle point of our body, and the gravity, that is a natural phenomenon by which all things with mass or energy, including planets, stars, galaxies, and even light, are brought towards uh, one to another. And the last one, force, that is an interaction that, when unopposed, will change the motion of an object. For my methodology, I'm going to identify the variables that I'm going to use in my project, like dependent, independent, and control variables. And also, for example, the dependent variables are going to be the people gender. The independent variables will be location of the center of gravity, and the control variables will be the same room, the same weather, the same chairs, the same table, the same masking tape, and the same bathroom scales. Now, my materials and methods that I'm going to use are, for example, to measure the distance of the center of gravity and its difference to the center of the body. I'm going to use a tape measure with centimeters and meters. And I'm going to use one table, so people could rest over the tables, and I can make the measures. I'm going to use a masking tape, so I can find and mark the location of I can mark the location of the center of gravity and the body center. I'm going to use also a Excel, so I can create a list to compare the data I have recollect. And bathroom scales, so I can find the center of the gravity of the people when both bathroom scales measure the same. And my experimental design will be carried out in a long table placed on two scales, placed each one in two chairs measured so that they are the same distance from each other. In the center of the table, a piece of masking tape will be placed to identify the location of the center of gravity of the volunteers. Then the volunteers will climb with the belly up and adjust until both scales have the same measure. Once positions the volunteer, a masking tape is placed on the volunteers in the same position as the first masking tape. Then we'll measure the distance of the tape on the volunteer with respect of the soles of their feet. And we'll take another measure to the height divided into two to locate the midpoint of the volunteer and measure the difference between uh, midpoints of the volunteer with respect to their center of gravity. The process is repeated more times, but with the same number of men as women. The more times the data obtained is analyzed and look if there is a relationship or difference between men's and women's location of the center of gravity. To make it faster and easier, I will use an Excel table uh, to compare the data and organize it in such a way that it will be easier to work with them. So there are the results. As we can see, we analyzed three women and two men because of some problem that I have with the contingents. Well, we can find here that women have the center of gravity in 104 centimeters, 110 centimeters, and 98 centimeters from their feet. So the midpoint is that the difference between the center of the body and the center of the gravity is in women in 19 centimeters, 23.5 centimeters, and 18 centimeters. This in contrast of men difference is higher because the difference of men with the location of the center of gravity and the center of its body is less, so like 11 centimeters and 13 centimeters. This is this means that it's more common than men have the center of gravity close to the center of the body, so that help them to have a better balance and also to have a better health. So here we can see that women, in summary, the difference is from 17 to 23 centimeters uh, uh, far from the middle of the body, and with men is from 11 to 17. The difference of the center of gravity from the center of the body. Then my conclusions are that, as we can see in the results, women are more susceptible to have a center of gravity farther from their center of the body than men. This could be an evolutionary vestige because the men moved and were more active than the women in the sense that they have to hunt mammoths or wild animals, and women have to stay and take care of the refuge and the family. This can result in a better balance for men over women, showing that we are better able to carry out physical activities thanks to the adaptation of our body to have a center of gravity closer to the center of the body so that we don't lose balance and we have a better state of physical health. For my conclusions also, I have a little problem with my project because of the contingency. So I could not carry out the experiment with more people who I needed to have a large reference frame for the results. However, I was able to carry out the experiment with help from my relatives who came with security measures to see us during the contingency. For the next time, I will try to do more tests with more people so I can have a greater framework of results and be able to analyze them carefully. That's the end of my AXIS project. Thanks.